From Dav Pikley, the creator of Captain Underpants, meet Dogman. George and Harold have created a new hero. Part dog, part man, and all hero.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our Paws On Book review segment.
And today we're covering the Dogman graphic novel series.
Yay! Finally!
Yes.
Now, in honor of the Dogman movie that finally came out and that's going to be on Peacock this Monday, or actually the 31st.
You're right.
We wanted to cover the original book series, especially since we're fans of the original Captain Underpants series and movie.
Yes.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications on future podcasts and Lola Pause videos.
Thank you for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting. As always, we appreciate everything you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, we're finally covering this Dogman. And when you hear the name, if you're not familiar with the book series, you're like, what?
Yes.
But for those of you that aren't familiar, quickly, it's a children's graphic novel series by American author and illustrator Dav Pikley. And anybody can read it. It's like Bluey.
Yes.
And it's a spinoff and a story within Captain Underpants series. And revolves around the adventures of the titular character, Dogman, a half man, half dog hybrid who works as a police officer.
Yes.
It's as funny as it sounds.
Yes. And in case you did not know, the original Captain Underpants series came to an end a few years ago due to unfortunate controversy. Not anything really bad, but it was considered inappropriate to have in the library to a point where they were banning it. And
because they're talking about potty.
Yeah, potty humor was considered very bad. And this told the author to say, okay, since you're telling me I can't do all these things I've been doing for years, I'll just end the series. He finds a way to end Captain Underpants, but he doesn't stop writing. So therefore he creates a sort of funny cliffhanger within it where it's the end of the Captain Underpants adventures, and George and I'm wondering what they're going to do now that those stories are finished and they know in the future they're going to be famous comic book writers and artists. They decide to make Dogman. And then Dogman gets its own spin-off series here. Because I don't think the other two went anywhere with Super Diver Baby and the Caveman one. So this one worked out.
Now the good thing is Dogman's received positive reviews from critics. Darian Stewart of Common Sense Media rated the first two books 4 stars out of 5, saying that the first book, Dogman, was riotous, silly fun with soft touch by Underpants creator, and the second book, Dogman Unleashed, as half man, half dog, all heart hero, delights and silly sequel.
Yes.
The books are fun, and to date, there have been over 10. They began writing them back in 2016.
Right.
The latest book from 2025 being Dogman Big Jim Believes.
Yes.
And then also a spinoff is the Cat Kid Comic Club series.
Yes.
Which you can tell us more about.
Right. So for this one, we also wanted to cover this not just because of the Dogman movie, but people wondering what does it cover. The movie covers the first 2 books, which are Dogman and Dogman Unleashed, and then it jumps to the 7th book, For Whom the Ball Rolls, and collects them into one film. They sort of did this the same way as they approached the Captain Underpants movie, was taking a few books and combine them into one story, which works because these really weren't movie-long stories. They were sort of just fun little bits, and then they put them together for one story. And what's funny about the Dogman series is that you're kind of thinking this is some anthropomorphic dog when you're reading it. And then they recap you every single time on what it's about. And if you read from the beginning, it's kind of like, I guess, the version of RoboCop. And it was a guy and his dog. They cut the wrong way on a bomb and it blew up. And the dog the dog's body it hurts too much or it's damaged because it's broken. And then the officer's head was broken. And it said, oh, but to preserve both, why don't we just combine the two and say, yeah, let's do it. And then that's how Dogman is made. And you're wondering, like, how?
But Dogman can't talk.
No, starting to know the dog still acts like a dog the whole time, which is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he has these adventures in his city. He's supposed to be stopping the bad guys. The main one has been Petey, who's supposed to be the evil cat who wants to take over the city and the world. And through a bunch of very hilarious circumstances and becoming an anti-hero and later a hero. And through each book, there's actually ends up being sort of lesson in there. Not really the sort of ones you have like make sure you eat your vegetables or don't steal or something. They actually try to be deeper, because Captain Underpants really was just all fun and silliness, and you didn't mind it. It was perfect for that. But in place of no longer having the potty humor that Captain Underpants was in trouble for, Dogman removes pretty much just about all potty humor whatsoever in there to not enter the same foray.
Yeah.
It focuses more on superhero jokes and more tongue-in-cheek puns on famous works of literature, both for the titles of the story and for the plots of each story, like they do Tale of Two Cities, Crime and Punishment, Catch-22, Lord of the Flies, and different books, and put their own little humorous twist on there. And they have their own lessons for kids, and it's more real. The only time it's more reality based within it, especially when they really delve into how little Petey sees the world and big P sees the world. One sees it positive, one sees it negative, and that's a theme they have throughout it.
And that's my favorite part of the entire series is Petey and his dad.
Yeah,
I love the little interactions and the lessons that are in it within the humor, within the events that happen, and it's not preachy.
right.
And you get these little tidbits of where, is it Pilkey? Yes, Pilkey got his inspiration from. He'll tell you what book, or if it's a verse from a book, or so forth. And I love that.
Yes.
And you can't help but love Petey. And then, as you said, you show one focusing on the positive and the negative. What I do like is that you also have Petey's dad, or his granddad, father, and he's not a good guy. And they didn't sweep it over like, okay, well, everyone's reformed. No, the dad doesn't want to reform.
Right.
Or the granddad for Petey doesn't want to reform.
Right.
And you've got that dichotomy where they're showing how different people make different choices. Again, without being preachy, it's funny as heck how it unfolds.
Yes.
When you're supposed to feel, you feel. When you're supposed to empathize with Petey, you do.
Right.
And when you're supposed to be moved, you are.
Right.
But it's done within this fantastic, hilarious, comedic framework. And when it starts to get where you think it's just going to get a little bit too heavy or deep or syrupy, Dogman and his friends pop in, wanting him to come to the house. Or, can we live with you?
No!
Or something silly. And it takes the heat off.
Right.
And it's just perfectly done.
Yes, absolutely. And right now the series is still going, and pretty much any age can read these books. And we know, and a lot of people have said that the people who have read Captain Underpants as a kid automatically went to Dogman even as a teen or an adult. But you also getting younger kids reading it too, and it's something that's fun, but it's not mindless, it's not brainwashed, it's not just something to get the kids' attention and then throw it away.
True.
It's actually telling a story, it's still having loads of fun, being silly, and still giving you a lesson throughout it. And it's something that's been lacking in both books and shows that you really don't see much of anymore. So it's kind of an ironic thing that Dogman of all things is filling in that space that was been missing in kids' books. And with the Dogman movie out, you can see how many adults were loving this book and making fan art and loving the movie. And even the movie, from what we hear, are keeping the impactful moments. They even add in a few things that the books don't touch on for more clarification, like what happened after Dogman became Dogman. How did that affect him knowing his master was gone, and the other characters that are introduced in here. So they've done a great job promoting the book and writing each story, making each one unique from the last, giving great lessons, giving pretty hilarious comedy and humor and action, and of course the superhero-ness of it. And it's just a really fun book series to read.
Yeah. Now, they've sold over a total of 3.8 million copies. 13% of all total comic book sales.
Oh, really?
It's charted by BookScan, not including digital copies or any copies sold by Scholastic through school book fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, unfortunately, Scholastic is the publisher. So you know that, we're just grateful that Disney get its paws on it.
Right.
So in 2020, as I mentioned, there was a spinoff focusing on Cat Kid,
Yeah.
Little Petey superhero form, titled Cat Kid Comic Club.
Yes.
And that series has actually been adapted into 2-stage musicals.
Oh my gosh.
A 2024 video game titled Dogman Mission Impossible, and of course, the animated film as we mentioned earlier.
Right. And last thing I would definitely want to bring up is that it shows just how great Dave's work is writing these books. And even when he was pretty much forced to shut down Captain Underpants, he still found a way to write stories, but now with even more heart to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that also came through when they did the Captain Underpants movie. It still was just as fun and crazy and kept the potty humor just like in the original, but they wrote it in a more clever way. It wasn't just fart joke, toilet joke, or something. It was all something you couldn't help but laugh at. And they added heart to the movie when you saw George and Harold weren't just being disrespectful just because they were kids wanting to make him miserable because Mr. Krupp was mean.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a reason Mr. Krupp was kind of bitter and they actually wanted to help, and in return he was kind to them. They added more to it where you appreciate it was a good change, where it wasn't just mean-spiritedness. It was something that helped the characters grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like that also went into Dogman when adapting that into a movie too.
True. And one reason that worked is because the Dogman film was written and directed by Peter Hastings, who also worked on the epic tales of Captain Underpants.
Cool.
So they were smart enough to keep the same writer and director. And it's funny because the Dogman's vocal effects were provided by Peter Hastings.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yes. So if you're interested, the video game, as we mentioned, is called Dogman Mission Impossible, Pawsible. And it was released by Mindscape in 2024. It has a 2D side-scrolling platformer, and it follows Dogman, Little Petey, ADHD, and they work together to track down the key to the city after it's stolen by fleas.
Yeah.
Fleas.
Oh my god.
And the musicals actually were two. One was Dogman the musical, and the
Oh
second,
my
as I mentioned, Cat Kid Comic Club the musical. Now, they both were produced off Broadway by TheaterWorks USA.
Ah, okay, I explained.
One in 2019 with music by Brad Alexander, and a book and lyrics by David De Aguia. And then the Cat Comic Kid Club the musical is also off Broadway, written by the same team, an adaptation of the Cat Kid Comic Club series. So looking forward to seeing more from this franchise. And as you mentioned, it's wonderful that Pikley was able to do this. I do remember you've loved Captain Underpants for the longest. And I remember at one point his dad got sick.
Yeah.
And he took a break off
Yeah.
to take care of him and return. And that right there just engendered me to loving this man because he knew what was important. Captain Underpants has been mind-blowingly successful forever.
Yes.
Even after the banning, people were still buying in the stores.
Yes.
But that he knew it was important to take care of his dad and take that break. I mean,
And told readers and kids, I have to stop writing because father's sick. And there was no problem. It was just like he was so honest and open to tell readers that, and you just waited.
And to have you, the kid, telling the parent, hey, this is what happened, and understanding and not being angry about it. How smart was that to talk to children like they would understand? Not dumb it down, not talk little kid-like, but just tell you.
Right.
I hope he has continued success. I definitely love that we'll continue to support him, and I cannot wait for us to see this movie on the 30th. And yes, guys, we will be reviewing the Dogman movie for you, so stay tuned.
Yes.
With that being said, if you have read Dogman, any of the Dogman books, or the Cat Club books, or even the Captain Underpants books, let us know in the comments below. Do you love them like we do? Did you read them? Captain Underpants is a child. Did you get into Dogman later on? Again, it's like Bluey. This is for any age. I read them right along with you now, and I read them along with you as a kid. You're like, you gotta read this, you gotta read this.
Yes.
And I loved it. If you haven't read the Dogman books, they're funny, hilarious. You should get them from your library if you don't want to invest in them, and just see how funny they are, and they are appropriate for any age. They are marketed for children because they force them to choose a market, but anybody can read those.
Right.
And don't forget to tell them quickly about the little comics that are always
yes,
in
the Flipperama. Yeah, the Flipperama. That's just in here, just like the original Captain Underpants books. Gonna be quite a few times in the books and in multiple books where you get to flip the pages to see it be animated, and it's still hilarious. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and movie reviews for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing to our channels, commenting, sharing our videos. It helps us out so much, and you are helping us on our goal to reach over 2,000 subscribers before the end of this year. Thank you so much. As always, you are special.
Thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm on Entertainment.
Have a tune-tastic day.
Peace.